Kaaba, which literally means the cube, stands as a central, most sacred structure in the heart of Mecca. Modest in height, it may seem unassuming compared to the towering skyscrapers that now surround it, but its influence on human history has been unmatchable. This small stone building has been a focal point of faith and devotion for centuries. Every day, millions of Muslims around the globe turn toward this sacred structure, directing their hearts and prayers to the Kaaba as they engage in the secret act of worship 5 times a day. It is more than just a building, it's a symbol of unbreakable connection between humanity and the divine. Yet the Kaaba's significance extends far beyond Islam itself. Its story is intertwined with the very roots of human civilization. Pilgrims from all corners of the Arabian Peninsula and beyond have come here for generations, not drawn by its size or structure, but by its profound spiritual essence. They came seeking not just water for their bodies, but solace and renewal for their souls. The faith that flows from the Kaaba unites people from all walks of life, from all corners of the earth. To truly understand the depth of its importance, we must journey back to the time long before the advent of Islam, when the Kaaba first captured the heart of those who came to seeking something beyond themselves. Long before the rise of Islam, the Kaaba was revered as the house of God, attracting pilgrims from distant land who came to perform the tawaf, circling its sacred structures in devotion, seeking the connection between humanity and the Creator. The roots of the Kaaba can be traced back to the great Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail, who were chosen by Allah to lay its foundations. According to the Islamic traditions, the original Kaaba was not the structure we see today, but a much older sanctuary whose roots stretch back to the very dawn of humanity. It is said that the first human Adam was divinely guided by Allah to construct this sacred house, a place of worship and a connection between man and his Creator. But as time marched on, the world events reshaped its very landscape. One of the most monumental of these was the great flooding during the time of Prophet Noah. The deluge was so powerful that it swept away cities, forests and monuments alike. In its mighty rush, the original Kaaba was submerged, its form lost beneath the turbulent, endless waters. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming destruction, the sacred essence of the Kaaba's location was never forgotten. Although the physical structure had vanished beneath the floodwaters, the memory of that holy site was preserved in the hearts and minds of the survivors. They continue to regard that spot as blessed, a place where in earlier times Adam had built a house of worship and where divine guidance had once been manifested. As the floodwater receded and humanity slowly rebuilt, the ancient memory of the Kaaba endured through oral traditions and the collective faith of the people. It was not until centuries later that Allah sent Ibrahim and his son Ismail to restore this house, which was lost in the barren landscape. But before they could rebuild the Kaaba, another profound moment would occur, one that would forever intertwine the legacy of the Kaaba with the story of faith and resilience. The story of Kaaba's restoration is also the story of a mother's unwavering faith. It was in this barren desert that Ibrahim received a divine command to leave his wife Hajar and their infant son Ismail. The desert was a place of desolation. There was no water, no crops, no shelter, only the harsh winds and scorching heat. Yet, in obedient trust of Allah's wisdom, Ibrahim set about preparing a modest camp for them, arranging a simple dwelling in that unforgiving land. Once everything was in place, Ibrahim mounted his camel and, to Hajar's great surprise, began to walk away from the camp. Alarmed and confused, Hajar hurried after him, desperate to understand why he would leave her and their child behind. As she caught up with him, a realization dawned upon her. Perhaps this departure was not abandonment at all, but the very command of Allah. With a mix of hope and apprehension, she asked him, "Has Allah commanded you to leave us here?" Ibrahim paused, his eyes reflecting the gravity of his duty, and he nodded in affirmation. That moment, filled with uncertainty and deep, steadfast faith, marked the beginning of their trial, a trial that would eventually lead to the establishment of a sacred act of worship for generations to follow. It was a turning point that not only defined Hajar's resilience, but also reawakened the sacred legacy of Mecca, reinforcing the belief that even in separation and hardship, divine mercy and guidance prevail. The faith of Hajar in that moment became an enduring symbol of resilience and hope. As her husband departed, leaving her and her infant son in the barren wilderness, Hajar's heart swelled with an unwavering trust in Allah's plan. With her precious child cradled in her arms, she found herself facing the harshest of the challenges: how to secure the life-sustaining water, how to find shelter amidst endless dunes, and how to survive in a land where every grain of sand echoes isolation. This was the moment when the true test of her faith began, a trial that would come to symbolize the strength of a mother's devotion and the mercy of the divine. In the midst of her desperation, Hajar was driven by both maternal love and steadfast belief. Determined to find help, she ran between the two towering hills of Safa and Marwa. 7 times she raced back and forth, each journey a bold act of defiance against despair. Her heart filled with hope, each step a testament of her resilience, her trust in the unseen, and her commitment to the divine command. She had no idea if help would ever come, but she kept searching, her determination unyielding. Then, just as darkness threatened to overtake her spirit, a miracle unfolded. In that fateful moment, Angel Jibreel appeared. From his outstretched hand emerged a miraculous Zamzam spring, bursting forth from the earth at the feet of little Ismail. Water flowed clear and abundant, quenching their thirst and breathing life back into the parched desert. This was no ordinary water, it was a divine gift, a tangible sign of Allah's mercy and grace, destined to serve as the lifeblood for generations to come. As fate would have it, a caravan from the Jurham tribe, a nomadic Bedouin people, was passing through the area. They noticed the unusual sight of birds circling above the newly appeared water source. Curious, they approached and discovered Hajar and her son Ismail in the wilderness. Rather than exploit their vulnerability, the Jurham were struck by the miraculous nature of the well and the faith that Hajar displayed. When they asked about her origins, Hajar proudly revealed her connection to the Prophet Ibrahim, sharing the divine purpose behind their presence. This simple yet powerful assertion fostered a sense of spirituality among the Jurham, who sought permission to settle in the area. Hajar agreed, but with one condition: the water belonged to her. Thus the foundations of the community were laid around the precious Zamzam well, with Hajar and Ismail at its heart. With the arrival of the Jurham tribe, the once desolate land began to flourish. The well of Zamzam became a central point around which the life revolved. Generations of families came to rely on its blessed water, not only for sustenance, but as a wellspring of spiritual guidance and renewal. The legacy of Hajar and Ismail, through their courage, faith and resilience, was etched into the very soil of Mecca, inspiring a spirit of hope that endured through the ages. As the community grew, so too did the significance of this sacred site. The Kaaba's importance was already becoming apparent. It was not only a symbol of faith, but also a gathering place for those who sought a deep personal connection to the divine. Over time, the sacred site of Zamzam and the Kaaba became a timeless beacon of hope. As Ismail grew, he became deeply integrated into the life of the Jurham tribe. He learned their ways, embraced their traditions, and spoke their language with fluency. His connection to the tribe was not only spiritual but also cultural, as he absorbed the rich heritage of the Bedouin people and adopted to their customs and lifestyle. Through his close bond with the Jurham, Ismail became a bridge between the ancient nomadic traditions and the emerging identity of Mecca, earning the respect and trust of those around him. In time, Ismail eventually married into Jurham, forming a union that tied his descendant to the heart of Meccan society. Their union laid the foundation of Banu Ismail, the tribe that would grow to become the custodians of the Kaaba, entrusted with preserving its sanctity and the spiritual heritage of Mecca. The Banu Ismail carried forward the rich legacy, shaping the city's destiny and ensuring that the sacred connection between humanity and the Creator would be passed on through the generations. After the miraculous water of Zamzam provided sustenance to Hajar and Ismail, the years passed, and the significance of the site grew. Eventually, Ibrahim was called back to the area by Allah. It was during this return that Ibrahim and his son Ismail were shown the original foundation of the Kaaba, which had been built by Adam. Following Allah's guidance, father and son together began the sacred task of rebuilding the Kaaba. With great devotion, they raised its foundation, brick by brick, as a symbol of obedience to the divine command. The Quran described this moment with great reverence, as Ibrahim and Ismail called out to unison, "Our Lord, accept this from us. Indeed, you are hearing, the knowing."
وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ.
As they completed this holy structure, it was declared as a house of worship dedicated solely to Allah. The Kaaba, rising from the desert sand, became a timeless reminder of the covenant between Allah and His creation. Its restored form signified a bridge connecting the ancient legacy of the prophets with the future hope of the believers. As the sacred walls took shape, so too did a unified sense of purpose among the people of Arabia. Over time, the Kaaba evolved into a focal point for those seeking a deeper connection to the divine. Pilgrims from across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond began to journey to Mecca, drawn by its magnetic spiritual pull. The ritual of tawaf around the Kaaba became a powerful expression of faith and unity, transcending tribal and regional boundaries. This annual pilgrimage or Hajj not only honored Allah but also wove together a tapestry of diverse people, each contributing to the rich legacy of Islamic traditions. Ismail's descendants were ensured with the noble duty of caring for the Kaaba and serving the pilgrims who would come to Mecca, honoring the sacred tradition that Ibrahim and Ismail had established. The responsibility of maintaining the Kaaba became a sacred task, one that was passed down through generations, a living testament to this unwavering faith and commitment. This custodianship was more than mere duty. It was a symbol of spiritual authority and a cherished trust bestowed by Allah. Over time, the role grew in both honor and significance, becoming deeply woven into the fabric of Meccan society. The careful care of the Kaaba not only preserved the ancient rituals of worship, but also united the people of Mecca under a common banner of reverence and pride. From the Banu Ismail emerged the Quraysh tribe, whose leaders took it upon themselves to protect and honor the sacred house. This legacy, passed from one generation to the next, set the stage for the eventual rise of Islam. It was from the Quraysh, and particularly the Banu Hashim branch of the Banu Ismail, that the Prophet Muhammad was born, a man whose own life and mission would forever define the meaning of the sacred house. With every tawaf of the Kaaba by pilgrims, the ancient covenant was renewed, echoing through time and affirming the eternal bond between humanity and its Creator. The Kaaba story is not just one of the stones and structures. It's a timeless saga of unwavering faith, divine providence, and the trials of human spirit. From its very creation by Adam, through its loss and eventual restoration by Ibrahim and Ismail, to its enduring role as a sanctuary for pilgrimage for billions today, the Kaaba stands as a living symbol of the sacred connection between humanity and its Creator. It's not the physical size and ornate appearance of the Kaaba that captivates the faithful, but the deep eternal bond it represents, a bond that transcends time and space. As centuries have passed, the Kaaba has remained a beacon of hope and unity for all who seek solace and strength in their faith. The ancient stories of Hajar and Ismail, with their sacrifices, their resilience, and their steadfast devotion, resonate through the ages, echoing in the hearts of millions who face their own hardship and struggles. Their legacy teaches us that even in our darkest moments, there is divine guidance to be found, and that every trial can be transformed into an opportunity for the spiritual renewal. The Sacred Heart of Mecca, where the Kaaba stands, continues to guide and unite humanity, serving as a powerful testament to the enduring power of divine love.